The community surrounds her. They close in, weapons raised, and deliver a barrage of blunt force to a woman begging for her life. But less than 2 hours earlier, the morning of June 27th was clear and sunny, with the fresh warmth of a full summer day. In 1948, author Shirley Jackson published a short story called The Lottery. The terror of this story relies entirely on structural deception. By weaponizing familiar, comfortable settings, Jackson turns the reader into an unwitting accomplice to a public execution. The narrative requires a specific sleight of hand. Jackson has to pivot from a cheerful summer morning to a horrific community murder in under 2 hours of narrative time, without triggering the reader's defensive alarms. The solution relies on a psychological blind spot. When an environment feels safe and deeply familiar, human brains actively filter out glaring warning signs, categorizing them as harmless anomalies. The violent climax provides the visceral shock. The true literary achievement is the meticulous, calculated pacification of the audience that leads up to it. Jackson builds the trap in the opening paragraphs, using aggressively boring details. Villagers gather in the town square and talk quietly about planting crops, the rain, tractors, and taxes. This specific type of mundane dialogue perfectly mirrors our own daily reality. We recognize these people. Because they behave like us, our threat response shuts down entirely. The children arrive first, fresh out of school for the summer. A boy named Bobby Martin stuffs his pockets with smooth stones, and others build a great pile in the corner of the square. The framing is incredibly deliberate. We assume we are watching boisterous, innocent summer play. In reality, we are watching a heavily armed militia stockpile lethal weapons. Every innocent, everyday detail described in these opening pages serves as a load-bearing pillar for the final, gruesome twist. The deception begins with the title itself. The word lottery universally implies a financial windfall or a stroke of immense good luck. Jackson uses our own vocabulary against us. Out of all the sunny, pleasant imagery, she permits exactly one overt symbol of dread: a weathered, splintering black wooden box that holds the slips of paper. The character names are telegraphed in the open. The man who brings the box is Mr. Summers, the embodiment of the cheerful facade acting as the chief executioner. He is assisted by Mr. Graves, and they are joined by Mr. Delacroix, which translates to of the cross. Death is woven into the very introductions. The mechanics of the drawing execute with bureaucratic efficiency. The heads of households draw first. Bill Hutchinson pulls the slip with the black spot. Instantly, his wife, Tessie, begins to panic, screaming that the draw wasn't fair. The trap springs shut as the names and objects are suddenly recontextualized. They weren't hidden. They were merely camouflaged by the familiar, neighborly rhythm of a village meeting. The Hutchinson family must now draw among themselves. Tessie reaches into the black box and pulls the final slip. It bears a heavy black mark. The town moves with chilling speed. The people Tessie gossiped with that very morning immediately grab the stones they stockpiled and close in on her. The community ensures total participation. Someone hands Tessie's youngest son, little Davy, a few pebbles so he can help murder his own mother. This detail shatters the ultimate societal taboo. The rules of the ritual have completely overridden basic human empathy and biological familial bonds. Why do they do it? The motive rests with a single character, Old Man Warner, who defends the ritual simply because it is the way things have always been done. This is a culture operating on autopilot. The village continues a destructive practice long after its agricultural meaning faded, because the gears were already in motion. The cycle becomes entirely self-sustaining. Mindless repetition replaces justification. They kill because they killed last year. The village in the story is fictional, but the psychology is real. It forces us to examine our own modern practices and ask what destructive traditions we continue to accept out of sheer habit. Shirley Jackson's masterpiece endures because it strips away our comfort. The most lethal threats do not hide in the shadows. They are ordinary people, operating in the broad daylight of unquestioned tradition.